Entaratazadai, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back with Game 2 of DuckloadRa versus DIMAGA. And this is me trying to teach myself, in essence, how to frigging beat Zerg, although that being said, in the previous game, we didn't do too well, so, yeah, hopefully this will go better. Yeah, awesome. So, as you can see, DuckloadRa has spawned in the top right position, and DIMAGA is spawning in the bottom left on Zelnaga Caverns. And this is a game from BlizzCon, one of the loser brackets, I believe. So, yeah, what I'm basically doing here is, if you haven't seen the first video, the first game of this series, I really want to get into the mindset of a good Protoss player, and I really want to know how to beat Zerg. As I said before, we didn't do too well in the last game, but I just have, right now, a lot of problems against Zerg in comparison to all the other matchups. PvP and PvT, for me, are pretty damn fine. I know what I'm doing in those matchups. But since recent changes and things like that, I don't know what it is, but the mindset of Zerg has either changed since the patch, or I don't get it. I didn't have that much problems with Zerg in the past, regardless of the changes, regardless of the Void Ray nerf, regardless of the Roach nerf buff and things like that. And even like a mTwDIMAGA, I had no problems with it until recently. I just feel so frustrated. Maybe it's because I'm going up in ranks, etc, but mTwDIMAGA, etc, and things like that are just so annoying to deal with, and I need in my mind a good way to deal with that. I understand that Phoenix are a really good way of dealing with mTwDIMAGA and stuff like that, and I do go Phoenix quite a few times against Zerg to some success, but if you let it go on too long, the Zerg ends up getting a few bases or whatever, and even the kind of Doom Army play is pretty damn annoying to kind of execute. When it comes to kind of like a late game, because the Zerg can replenish their forces so damn quickly. So let's get into this game anyway. We do see a Cybernetics Core going down for DuckloadRa, just very standard play here, as well as this hatchery going up for DIMAGA as well. Again, very standard play here from both players at this point. And this game's a little bit shorter than the last game, so I'm really wanting to see what happens here. And we do see now metabolic boost being researched for DIMAGA, as well as two links popping out just in order to shoo away that first probe. They must have paused, so yep, we're going again. As you can see, pauses do not really affect replays other than the blurb that you get during them. And as you can see here, this hatch is almost done, and metabolic boost is halfway done. Do see a nice Zealot coming out in order to be able to kind of block this off. Although that being said, I'm pretty sure a Zealot actually can't block that off on his own. And we do see a Stog coming out, as well as Warp Gate being researched. This Overlord getting in a nice position in order to be able to potentially sacrifice itself later on in order to be able to see some kind of technology. And this expansion here is almost done. So we do see a few Zerglings now coming out for DIMAGA. I'm quite surprised that he's getting this many Zerglings again. DIMAGA seems to want to play really aggressively with Zerglings early on. You see a lot of Zerg players not actually playing that aggressively with Zerglings and just kind of droning up, getting those two Zerglings, as I said before, in order to be able to prevent scouts from like running about. Also, securing these two towers with Zerglings is always a very fan favourite for Zerg players. And we do see a few more gateways now going down for DuckloadRa, so I'm really hoping that DuckloadRa kind of clinches the victory in this game, because I really need to learn some kind of techniques versus Zerg. If DuckloadRa wins none of these games, oh, knocked my headset off a bit. If DuckloadRa wins none of these games, it's going to be absolutely pointless. But my video at the end will sort of kind of even that out a little bit, as I do win in my game. I know that's a spoiler or whatever, but I'm merely using that for kind of a technique learning process video. So yeah. We do see DIMAGA now gathering a lot of Zerglings up in this top corner, really wanting to keep them secret, and at this point DIMAGA is just massing the Zerglings, so this is not looking good for DuckloadRa actually at this point, as all these Zerglings are going to come flooding in, and he really needs to use these force fields effectively, otherwise these Zerglings are going to absolutely punish DuckloadRa at this point. And now, as you can see, this hatch is only being used as a Zergling tool, not mining anything from this hatch. So really actually clever play from DIMAGA here. DuckloadRa thought he'd be kind of safe in expanding and just making a few units to fend off these few Zerglings that he thinks are only on the map, but he doesn't realise that there are a ton of Zerglings in the back of his base right now, or in the top corner of this map. So this Nexus is about halfway finished, and here comes the flood of Zerglings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really kind of curious as to how this is going to end. Nice force fields going down there, blocking off a lot of those Zerglings. Really wants to get as many pot shots as possible. Those Zerglings actually moving back, maybe trying to take out that Nexus, and he really needs to be able to kill off all these Zerglings. If he can kill them off, it's going to be okay. Nice force field there again, but he really needs a force field here and here in order to be able to fend this off fully. Although that being said, now he's doing a really good job with this. So force fields in this situation are a fantastic tool. Although that being said, now we see another 20 Zerglings in production at this point. So DiMaga really committing to this all-in Zergling push. And I think at this point, if DuckloadRa can just hold off, he really needs more energy for force fields. He doesn't have too much here on these sentries. If he can just hold off at this point, get this expansion up and running in a really economical state, he can kind of clinch this game very easily. Although that being said, we do see a lot of Zerglings amassing at these towers here, a few Zerglings in the back here as well. He really needs to kind of create a sim city. He needs a pylon in the back here, as well as maybe a building here, the assimilator, and maybe a pylon there, in order to be able to just kind of funnel units down here. And 1 second, casting. Just need to put myself on busy. And as we can see here, a few Zerglings coming in the back here, and more Zerglings, and as well as an Evo chamber going up for DiMaga, so going to be getting that +1 attack to make this even more potent. But at this point, I'm pretty sure DiMaga, this tactic is not going to work, as oh my god, he is moving out, though I'm not so sure that this is a good idea, as he could get a huge surround off on these units. And that is, oh, nice force fields. He needs more force fields, and yes, he's got the force field coverage there, very nicely done. DiMaga could have got a really nice surround off there had these sentries not had enough energy for the good force fields, the money force fields, the nice force fields that we all love to see. And at this point, it's going to be pretty much GG from here. DiMaga doesn't have much at all to defend. He only has a few Zerglings against this huge ball of Protoss units, and going to be warping in a... Oh my god, what is that sentry doing? Dancing around where the pylon's going to be. That's horrible. So now throwing down a lot more money force fields. All these Zerglings are going to be picked off quite easily by these units, and that is going to be GG pretty much here. And DiMaga does call GG. So thankfully, DuckloadRa did clinch a victory. Not the victory I would have liked. I would have liked it to have been against Muters, etc., because that didn't really teach me much, other than the fact that if a Zerg player is like pressuring with a ton of Zerglings, you just need force fields. But yeah, anyway, let's see what happens in game 3. It'll be interesting to see. So I'll see you in a second.